Hello, welcome to the Cables, Lace, and Tails podcast. My name is Sue, and I'm a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. It is a hot, sunny day here, and I turned off most of the fans. Couldn't turn them all off because it would be stifling inside the house. My cat Anya is directly underneath me, and she is my seat, which you may or may not hear. So I do have a finished object I am wearing. This is, oh, I forgot. I think it's a tee. I think it's the comfy tee, or I have a pattern here somewhere. Not very organic. Oh, there it is. It's the Perfect Knit t-shirt by Kaitlin Barthold. I'll just show a picture. Right there. I got it off of Etsy years ago. I made this probably 2 summers ago. I haven't really worn it outside the house. It is line brand Coboo. It is very, very nice. It's very how should I say, flowy. I tried putting it over a dress that I got, and it just looked frumpy. Because then everything was bunchy and it was getting really hot. I have not worn this outside the house due to a couple factors. One, when I first finished it, I put it down. Right over here is a shelf I have, and it may have touched a black pen, maybe a Sharpie, and it got a black stain like in this area, and it went all the way through the shirt, and I didn't know what to do. I was so bummed, and I put it in the timeout pile for a really long time, and I would just mull it over my head like, well, what happens if I wash it and then it doesn't come out? What happens if it gets all over? What happens if all these things? So I don't know how I found out about them, if I saw them at the store or if someone recommended them, but those Shout color catchers, not sponsored, but I put a Shout color catcher into the washer. I put this in the washer on gentle, on cold, and fingers crossed, the stain came out. It came out. However, the neckline also grew. So I think if I am going to wear this outside the house where I'm, moving and grooving, I will have to put a thread of elastic in the neckline and kind of cinch it up, because before I washed it, it laid perfectly. And it, I don't want to be at work and have, visual evidence of my body for everyone to see. That is just not who I am. I thought it was going to be too tight, so I added, you can kind of see right down here, I added a bunch of stitches. And I don't think that was the right idea. I really did not understand blocking at that time. Did not understand how this yarn worked at that time. There's also little strands that pop up every once in a while, which gives it kind of a shabby experience. I don't know how to weave them in without them coming undone again. But maybe that's just what you have to do with this yarn, where you have to, after you wash it and block it, you weave in the ends again, because there's nothing to grip. It's 50% cotton and 50% bamboo, I believe. It is a lovely fabric. I did buy more of this yarn in a dark navy, and I haven't used it yet, because I was going to do it right after I got done with this one, and then the whole stain thing kind of put me off. Working in the round, like going to about here, was awesome, because you have these little raglan increases, and I find myself really grooving. And then when you split for sleeves, then you have the tube, and a lot of people like knitting in the round. I, however, found a lot of hand pain, especially with this yarn, and so that took another longer period, so I would just do a round or two. And then I added all those stitches, which then made it even bigger. So live and learn. It is nice, and I decided to wear it today. It just has a simple rolled hem. See if I can show it without standing. Simple rolled hem, simple rolled hem. I think it's an I-cord. Yeah, it's an I-cord hem. So I did watch Roxanne Richardson, and she talked about how to bind off the I-cord. Great tutorial. You can find her via Google search, YouTube, or whatnot. Now I'm all scrunchy. Anyway, so it's a nice shirt. It has kind of, I will say that here's the, where is it? I made mine longer. I think it was supposed to be about here, but I thought, you know what? I kind of want it to be just a little longer so I could have more of a transition time period. I haven't found anything to wear underneath it where I could just keep it as is without fixing the neckline. All right, if I don't stop talking about it, I'm just gonna futz with myself, and I don't like that. So this week has been a lot of preparing for the future week. I spent a lot of time tracing out patterns. I have about 10 traced out. I also prepared a lot of my fabric that has been in stash for years. So before Joann's closed, like years ago, I would go to their clearance area and I would look for fabric that I liked. And sometimes I'd be lucky and I could get just a bunch of fabric for 50% off or whatnot. I always wanted like 60, but I think 50 was the main. So I bought it, and then I would put, like, say it was over Christmas or, part of the summer or spring break or whatever. I would get it, and then I would just put it in a bin that I'm like, all right, this is my sewing bin. This is my sewing fabric bin. I'm going to use this in the future. And then, I've been doing that since 2018. I think 2018. I have collected fabric over the years and haven't used it because of one reason or the other, mostly due to fear. But when I got that fabric over those periods of time, I would just put it away thinking, all right, I'm going to teach myself how to sew this coming summer. And then that summer would be super busy and I wouldn't be able to do it except for maybe a little bit where I would make, I made face masks. That's when I really started to get into sewing, when I was making face masks. So I washed all the fabric. I dried all the fabric that, I wouldn't say all, a great deal. I washed and dried and ironed a great deal of fabric. And I'm going to use that stuff first because it's been in my stash the longest to make the garments I have traced out. I spent about 5 hours on Monday ironing the fabric. Because nothing says like fun like standing by a hot iron for hours on end. I didn't do it all at once. I did like an hour and a half, 2 hours, boom. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to get the rest of this done today. And it's 6 something at night and I'm going to get it done. At least I'm doing something, right? It was like 9 o'clock, 9:30 when I got done. And I was like, my feet hurt so bad. But it's now prepared. And now I'm kind of looking at what I have to do some I have really big pieces and some I have just a small amount. So I'm going to go through and kind of figure out what I can make, what I can't make. Now I would like to make, I have traced out a pant pattern, and you can, that pant pattern, say that 10 times fast, that pant pattern can be made into capris as well as shorts. So I did get a larger size, and I don't know if that's the right size for my body because I've never made pants before. I'm kind of intimidated. I also have a huge amount of this one floral fabric. It's really pretty, which I think also bled a little bit because I put a color catcher in the wash when I was washing all the fabric just in case, and it came out pink. So I would like to make a dress out of that, and I'm debating what dress, and can I get away with a completely floral dress? Would I be able to wear it out in public without well, I have reasons why I wouldn't always be able to wear something like that out in public, but would I have the confidence to say F it and let's do it? So maybe on certain days, maybe not on other days. All right, so been working on my sewing projects, and then when I be exhausted from standing or bending or whatnot, I came out and I started working diligently on really, well, I have 4 projects. So I really wanted this. I'm going to show this first. This is going to be a project bag, and I finished my little stump house here. I kind of wanted everything to be kind of like you don't really see it unless you look for it. And then I just started working on the butterfly, and I'm gonna do different color in here. I'm thinking of a pink, and then I'm gonna do blue, but then after that I'm gonna overlay some purple to give it some dimension, and maybe some yellows and whatnot. So started working on that, finished this. There's a little flower here you can't really see. It was fun. I did make a little, like you can see like there's a little fire inside or a candle. It's kind of yellow. It's cute. So I worked on that, especially when things are tough in the world and I get really angry and I can't really control anything because, you know, I'm not a billionaire. And yeah. So another thing I worked diligently at, and I just cast off the second sleeve this morning, like maybe 2 hours ago. My cherry sweater. I still have to block it. Let's hold it up. I have to block it, block the ends, sew them down so it's a nice little finished cuff line here for the cuffs and the hem, weave in the ends, and I am debating how I'm going to block this. I added a lot of extra stitches underneath the arm here because I thought it was going to be too tight around my midsection, which is, I'm an apple, or is it a pear? Whatever. I'm some kind of fruit on the bottom, and or I'm a pot-bellied pig. Because I was born in the year of the pig. That's a joke. Anyway, so I've been debating, do I steam block it? Because it fits really nice right now. And my fear is if I block it, is it going to grow so much that I didn't realize when I was knitting it to the end. So if I do steam block it, I do have a steamer that you can, do upright. But this is a mixture of, it's a Upcycle Alpaca Blend by Knit Picks. It is 33% acrylic, 33% alpaca, 34% wool. My concern is with the acrylic, if you put an iron too hot, it could melt. So then I'm like, well, I could put a towel over it, do it at a low temperature, don't directly, heat it, or I could, blast it with some steam, and I have one of those wood blocks used for seams. And so I'm in the debating phase. But it's done. It's off the needles. Now I just have to decide, and then I will do, and then it'll be done, and I will be so happy. I was so happy. I just was like, I tried to finish it yesterday, and I was about, I had to do 3 more centimeters after the purl bump, and I was about halfway, and I'm like, oh, I'm just, my hands are hurting. If I push myself, they're gonna hurt more, and then they're gonna hurt tomorrow. I'll just finish it tomorrow. I'm glad I waited. I finished it today. It went really quick. I am so happy. That's side view. It has a super deep raglan, and the color is squirrel. I'm gonna just hold it up real close. You may not be able to tell, but there's little flecks of red and pinks in this yarn, and it is very lovely. Now, I am an affiliate member to Knit Picks, and I just want to state that my link to Knit Picks is in the description below. If you click on the link, decide to buy anything from them, I do receive a small commission for directing sales to their site. Now, yesterday I was on my computer, and as you do, I was looking at things, and I was on my YouTube channel looking at my analytics, and they always come up with the home page first, right? And I was just scrolling and looking and seeing and whatever, and there was this one YouTuber, I don't know her name. I only watched the little blip that would show if you like put your mouse on it, and it stated that the Knit Picks has a carpet beetle infestation. Oh, I didn't even want to watch it. I have a real issue with bugs. My daughter is headed into high school, but when she was in 3rd grade, right before the pandemic started, it was January of 2020, she had lice, and I hate lice, and it's super lice, and it's super awful, and lice sucks, because, you know, now I'm itchy, because I have a lot of anxiety and whatnot, and I tried to fix it, and it kept coming back, and it kept working on it, kept coming back, and it was like a whole month of lice. Finally, we went and saw this one lady. She has since moved to Colorado. Lice Avengers was her name, and you can still buy her products online, and it's great. She was a nurse, and she developed this, well, I would say natural solution where she says it actually makes the lice explode. And I said, that has never given me more pleasure in my entire life, the fact that they would explode. So she didn't find any live lice on us at that time, but she did find some knits, and she gave us the solution, and we bought some stuff and blah blah blah. Came home, we let it sit on it was this beautiful oil, and we just sat with it on for, she said 20 minutes, and we did like almost 3 hours, because I'm like, it is gonna die, it is gonna die, it's gonna die. And then I also invested in diatomaceous earth, and I still have quite a bit. I got it from someplace, I think in Utah. I don't remember the name. Earth Solutions. I don't know. Anyway, so you do not want to ingest, like inhale, not ingest, inhale diatomaceous earth, because it is shards of prehistoric sea creatures and clay and whatnot, and it can damage your lungs. So I know from watching a lot of videos and a lot of things that came up when you put in diatomaceous earth and lice, I'm getting a little nervous. I took really tight t-shirts, and I pinned them to my head and my daughter's head, and with bobby pins, and then I put the diatomaceous earth in an old spice bottle and this, and then tied a knot. And I said, you need to lay as still as possible all night, which is hard. I mean, you're sleeping, but it worked. It didn't get in our eyes. It didn't get in our mouths or our nasal cavities, nothing. And then I got up before her, and I put a wet washcloth over my face like this as I took everything off, just in case it could come in, and that way I wouldn't inhale. And then I got directly underneath the water, which then turned it into kind of like a mud. Washed it out. My hair was really soft, I will say that. It killed all the lice. I was very vigilant throughout the house. And I still check my daughter's hair all the time because she's in school, and you just don't know. Lice like clean hair. They don't like dirty hair. Anyway, what does this have to do? So when I saw that little blurb on that YouTube video about carpet beetle infestation from Nitpicks, I started panicking. Quietly, inwardly, freaking out. Oh my God, I just bought yarn from them. Oh my God. And then I said, stop. No, stop. Back and forth, up and down. And then I said to myself, go look. Now, I'm not bringing it out right now. It's in plastic bags, in plastic bins with oxygen absorbers, just in case, because this was last night, just in case. I did not see anything, but, I've never had a problem with Nitpicks. I've never seen any bugs in any of my things. I thought, well, maybe they have a different warehouse, like somewhere out west, and it didn't affect me because I got mine from Ohio. Well, this morning I was thinking about it again, and it's starting to give me all of this anxiety. And I did a Google search, and AI comes up spewing the same thing that this one other person said. Now, I thought to myself, okay, I can just believe what anybody's telling me on the internet, or I could call the company myself. Considering I am an affiliate member, I want to be honest and forthright with my information so you can make a good decision on what to buy, where to buy. And you can get lice from Target, which is where I think my daughter got lice from. Long story. Anyway, she also probably could have gotten it from school. She could have, like the little meme says when people try on those big heads for Halloween, and just like that, they all got lice. All right. Okay. So I called Nitpicks this morning, and I just said, I have a few questions about I've read and seen a video online. I didn't watch the whole thing about carpet beetle infestation. The representative who I talked to sent out an email that they were sending out to all of their customers, and it says, thank you for reaching out. As fellow knitters and crocheters, we took the report of a potential bug issue very seriously and promptly brought in professional pest control to conduct an internal inspection at our warehouse. While we are happy to report that that inspection has revealed no live bugs or larvae of any kind in our facility, we are not taking any chances. We're implementing additional preventative steps to make sure every skein that leaves our building meets the high standards we hold for our yarns and for you. We are passionate about our natural fibers, and we care deeply about both plants and animals, but we definitely do not want them showing up uninvited in our packaging. Your peace of mind matters deeply to us, and we are grateful you took the time to let us know your concerns. Please let us know if there's anything else we can help you do. Now, I talked to her at length for about 10 minutes, and I stated that, things can go viral for good or bad, right? I told her I was an affiliate member, that I wanted to be able to tell my audience what I have learned, and we discussed things. She stated out of 6,000 orders, only 8 had bugs in them. She didn't know where the bugs came from, and some things happened. She was thinking that, I should say, they are thinking that it happened in transit somehow, which is possible. I mean, I walked out of my house last night with my dog, and a moth flew down my shirt, and it creeped the crap out of me. Because also I didn't want to bring the moth into my house and then it eat my clothes and, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, things happen. I do not know and never have seen and never have experienced any bugs in any of the Knit Picks yarn or other products I have bought. So, do with that as you will. You take a chance of buying something at Walmart or, you know, wherever, and it could have had somebody plant something. There was a case at Walmart years ago where people were bringing in bed bugs, which then, you know, no one wants bed bugs. But, you know, did they know they had bed bugs on them? Maybe. Sometimes there's people that don't know that they have bugs on them. Kids in particular bring in lice all the time and they can't get rid of lice. And now with all the chemicals that you have had with lice, it's still, you know, they're tricky. So they are being very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Diligent. They're being diligent and making sure that their products are safe for consumers. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood. Have a sip of coffee. Okay. I did use Knit Picks 4 square laminated birch Sunstruck needles for my cherry sweater. It really did help on the hand pain. But when I bound off the cuffs, I don't remember what I did on the hem. It's been so long. I did size up to a size 6, which gave it a little bit of a looser thing. So I will be very excited to show you the finished product. I don't know if I'll be able to wear it until fall because it is quite warm today, and it's July and it's northwestern Wisconsin, so you have humid, hot days. Now, the other thing I've been really working on, and I lost it, Yarn Chicken. This is the cat couch bottom. I sewed it together. It's so big. It's so big. So I finished. I realized that this right here, this side was done with a size G or 4mm, and this side was done with a size 5mm or H hook. And I mistakenly, I remembered it was a red handle. Okay, so this pouch I have, it had a set of needles in it. I got it many, probably 10 years ago. They don't exist anymore online. But this is the H 5mm. And sometimes I mix different hooks from different sets into this pouch because, you know how it is. Sometimes you change things around. This is a 4mm or G hook. Well, they're both kind of red. So I accidentally grabbed this one instead of this one. But once I realized that, I then continued on with my size 4mm hook, and I did I did use a contrasting yarn. You can kind of see it here because I knew I was going to run out. and I don't have any more of this country blue in the stash. I don't even know if they make country blue anymore. I did not want to buy any more country blue. I wanted to use up my stash because it needs to be used up. So it kept me going till the sun went down. I don't want to get copyrighted, but that's a fun line. Okay, so I think at that same time I bought this yarn. I think it's, I want to say Cafe Latte. So it has the same kind of texture as the country blue, which, you know, that makes a big deal. So this is the strip that goes in between the two halves. And you're supposed to take, let's see here. Okay. So I cut it apart. I still haven't figured out part of this. You're supposed to take the front and make the pattern with the foam. But the foam itself, I could not curve it because it's like this. So I think I have this line here. I haven't done it yet. I kind of got nervous, but I think I'm going to cut this and then piece it into here and kind of match it, because this will stick to itself. It sticks really nice to itself. So I think if I cut it and, you know, maybe make this straighter, it'll fit in. But essentially, you have your pieces, and then you take this, and then where's the center? You put the center in the middle, and then you sew the front to one side, and you sew the back to the other side, and you encase it. So that's where I'm at right now. I cast off, you say that? I finished, oh, I made a mistake there. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal. It's a cat, no I didn't. I just pushed. So as you can see, I ran out right at the last little bit. It's in the back. I thought to myself many times as I was doing this, maybe I should do the first row in this color, and then I would end up on country blue. And then I thought, well, will I run out? And then by the time I got to about halfway through, I realized I was going to run out, and then I had to make that decision. Do I rip this all out, waste all these hours of working on this, or do I just say it's a cat couch? And I decided it's a cat couch. So, you know, you won't be able to see it per se unless you're looking at the back. You know, it's only that little bit. And I don't think it'll bug me. And I asked Tallulah, wherever she is, and she did not respond. So, you know, so obviously she doesn't care. Because, you know, it's a cat couch. It's not, it's supposed to be whimsical. And if it really, really doesn't look aesthetic, whatever, I can always make a blanket or put a blanket or whatever and, you know, put it over it, and then voila, doesn't exist. And maybe they would like a blanket, because I have a piece of fleece that from an old project, and I was looking at it to see how much I had for something else, and I put it down on this arm right here, and Anya was like, oh, it's about time you thought of me. I'll just sit right on this. So, really close to getting this done. I would really like to see the finished product. I mean, it is so adorable, so cute, quite easy. One thing I did not do, and that is show the patterns. I got it from Annie's Crochet, and they have these 4 patterns in this nice little leaflet. You can buy this, and I'm not sponsored or I'm filling it, remember, I'm just telling you. You can buy this as a PDF, or you can spend a little extra money. I think it was like $8. This was a couple years ago, and get the printed version. I prefer the printed version, so that's what I did. It did also rip. You can kind of see the shininess. There you go. It ripped up here, and I have some book tape, the same stuff I use at the library, and I just secured the edge. And I'm going to step back in time. The cherry sweater came from this Sandusgarn pattern book. They are not selling this anymore. I'm just going to show you the finish. Okay, this is the finished version. Mine is not going to look this polished. 1, I didn't use the same kind of yarn. 2, I added too many stitches. 3, c'est la vie. But it came from this book. It's a Norwegian pattern book. It doesn't give you a lot of information. It's not very size inclusive, but it is oversized, so it could fit a lot of people. A lot of their patterns are oversized in this book. And yeah, the last thing I'm going to discuss is I'm doing my drop shoulder, set in sleeve cardigan. I call it my palette cardigan because I'm using the Pix palette camel twist, which has been in my stash for 6 years. I did work on this quite a bit. It is fingering weight. It is this beautiful light tan and cream marled yarn. I did a 2x2 rib, and now I'm using size, what size am I using? Size 3 or 3.25 millimeter interchangeable needle, and they are the Reflections from Knit Picks. They are a stainless steel needle with a touch of nickel in them, just so some people have reactions. I do not. I like these needles a lot. I like them a lot. I like the weight of them in my hands. I really like them a lot. So I have been working on this. I have, let's see, about 2.5 inches or so. I measured, and it's getting up there. It's about 10 inches total, and I think I need to get to 15 inches or so before I start doing the underarm shaping. But right now it's lovely. I just moved my little, my little thing so I can see how far I get. So I didn't really work on too much this past week because I was preparing sewing patterns, and I was cleaning, and I was organizing, and I was ironing. And my daughter is part of 4-H, and so she had to go to the fair and show her projects, so I was helping her make banana bread, and it turned out really good. So we were shopping last Monday, and I needed to get a mini loaf pan for her project because it requires a mini loaf pan. So I was like, all right, we'll go to Walmart or Target. And so I was gonna go to Walmart first, and she goes, can we just go to Ross? I want to go to Ross so bad. Can we just go there first? And I said, all right, fine, whatever. I already looked online and I knew how much the loaf pans were, and the cheapest I found were 2 for $10. I was like, yeah, all right, it is what it is. So we went to Ross, and then I didn't realize Ross had a home section. Ross, dress for less. So it's kind of like a TJ Maxx of sorts, I guess. So I went back there. I said, hey, I'm gonna go check it out. I went back there. I found a massive. It, I don't even know how many. It might be like 18. I don't know. A massive pan. It barely fits in my oven. I have like this much on either side of my oven, about an inch at most on either side. So we don't use all of the pans for the mini loaves. We just use some of the center ones and whatnot. But the first time we did it, I didn't know how much we were going to need. And I thought, well, I'll just put oil in it instead of butter. Don't do that. Anyway, it didn't taste as good. It didn't have that same kind of texture that you like. I don't know. Butter is better for this recipe. So it just kind of turned out more oily. It was okay. I'm like, all right, well, we're going to make it again. And then when we were making it again, I said, I'm going to use butter to do the pan. And I only did the center and 2 more, 1 on each side. So I did, so that would be 8, right? Yeah, 8. So I got 10 loaves, something like that. They turned out nice. They looked really good. We're so excited. I'm hoping that she gets a good review on them. We don't know. They don't tell us when we're sitting there. And then this is her at each. She had 3 things that she did: painting, photography, and then the banana bread. She was like, yes, yes, yes. She's having a hard time with public speaking. And, you know, it's hard. So we did that. We had to go on Monday. Oh, so no, that wasn't Monday. It was 2 Mondays ago that we got the pan. So this Monday, we went to the 4-H fair thing. It was in and out. So glad it's over. We had to pick up all this stuff on Sunday. And then also, I was going to go blueberry picking on Tuesday. But thankfully, I checked Instagram right before I was going to start getting ready, because we were going to leave at 8:30 in the morning to get out there around 9. And I want to get out there, get my 3 buckets, and get home. And we go to a place not too far, but it does take about 20 minutes to get there. So I was on Instagram, like as you do. I was like, doo doo. And I saw a notification from them, and they did not start blueberry picking until this coming Friday onward, because the blueberries weren't ripe. And I was like, oh, bummer. Oh well. We got a lot of things organized yesterday. I found boxes of her old classwork from 5th grade. She just finished 8th grade. And she's like, no, 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 I don't want to let this go. She's not a hoarder. She's a sentimentalist. That's what I'm telling myself. Because she just feels like she had such a good time in 5th grade. She had such a good time in grade school. All, you know, every school she's been at so far. Pre-K, K through 5, 6 through 8, she's cherished the whole time. She doesn't want to let certain things go. And I said to her, look, you do not have to keep all of these quizzes. So I talked her into letting things go, and we filled up a whole kitchen garbage can full of old papers and coursework and whatnot. So we decreased many boxes into 1. You know, because there's some artwork, and then, you know, she was so creative back then. Anyway, that is about it. We are probably going to go to the state fair on Saturday. She wants to hang out with her friend, and I will be hanging out in the shade. I may look at some of the entries for the adult fair stuff. I have entered into the fair once in 2018, I believe. I did pretty good, but we get free tickets from my husband's work, and so why pay for fair entry when I get a free entry? So I haven't done it since then. I'll probably be sitting there knitting on a dishcloth or something small I can bring that I won't mind. I don't want to bring anything too precious because you're at a state fair. But it all depends on if her friend is going to go or not and whatnot. So that is that. Next week, I'm going to have to make some time. My mom is coming up for a visit. So I'm going to have to figure out when I can record on what day. I do not know. And yeah, it might be just a little short little like, hey, I figured out how to do this on my cherry sweater. And that's all I got time for. So wish me luck. I can't wait till it's done. It looks really cute, even with this rolled here. But I do really want to make it look more polished. And part of me is like, soak it. And part of me is like, oh, don't soak it. And part of me is like, well, what would happen if you soaked it? You could pin down the cuff, and then you would be able to sew it real nice, and then you wouldn't worry about melting the acrylic in the yarn. You know, so I mean, it could probably use a good bath. That's for a different day. Well, my cats used to come all the time, but now I think they know this is old news, and all I do is stare at a camera and talk to myself. And to you too. By the by, thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate them. You are all so wonderful, and I really enjoy keeping myself held accountable, using up my yarn, using up my patterns, using up the things I find bring joy to the world, my own little personal world, especially when the world out around us is, well, if you're aware, then you know. Anywho, take care, have fun, enjoy the summer day. Bye for now.